What's happening, folks? I'm Mitch Smith. You can hit me up for private lessons at www.rtsm.rocks or check out some of my courses on udemy.com. Today we're going to be studying Chris Stapleton's Whiskey and You. A student of mine brought this to me a couple weeks ago and I've been loving it. It's a straight up acoustic song and it's really cool, but it's also accessible. It's doable. But it's really cool sounding. There's some details in there. You may find the progression, but the details are what really make it so cool sounding. So first of all, it's in drop D. Now, if you don't know how to get to drop D, you can just tune this down to D. Use a chromatic tuner and make that D. What I like to do is listen to my D string and pluck them both and just drop it till the waves go away. Okay, so there's drop D. If we just run that D major scale linear up the D string, you got do, re, mi, fa, sol. Okay, do, re, mi, fa, sol, and mi, fa, and so, or 3, 4, 5. Those are the notes that we're interested in. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of drone on the big open D, while we're just building that scale up and back down. Okay? Now you can, if you're not very good with fingerstyle guitar, or you're not good with the alternate thumb, you can just kindly strum the whole thing. If you can, what the ideal thing to do is pluck that fourth string D with your index finger, while you're alternating the bass here. Okay, and that happens for the first half of the chorus, or first half of the verse. Now I want you to think about this progression for a second. There are 16 bars in the verse. So if you divide that into fours, each line is 4 bars. So you have 4 lines. You with me so far? 4 lines of 4. That's going to equal 16. Now, the first line of 4 is just that D chord walking up that. There's a bottle on a dresser by your ring. That's 4 bars. It's into you, so I don't feel a thing. Now, here's what's happening there. You have a B minor 7. Now, you just make a B minor bar chord, and it's not going to hurt to just bar the whole guitar here. I always do, even though this is still a root note. Okay, so you can go ahead and bar the whole thing. Just don't pluck that big D string. Now, that's a B minor, but if you let the pinky off, that's a B minor 7. And what we're going to do is let this index finger off and on, turn it into a B minor 7 add 9. I don't have time to get into what makes that an add 9 today, but if this is B, this is the octave, so that's the 8th, there's the 9th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Okay, so there's your next 4 bars. So that's the second line. Third line, bring it right back to D. So we had there's a bottle, I'm dressed around the door, it's empty. So I won't feel a thing, but I'll be hurting when I wake up on the floor. But I'll be, okay, so there's your next 4 bars. So that's 4, 8, 12. Now we're on 13, 14, 15, and 16. We're going to go back to that B minor, but we're going to walk it down. B, A, G. Now you may think, oh, that's not a G, that's an A. Well, that's the fret that A is normally on, but remember we're in drop D. So G is here. What would have been here is now tuned down a whole step, so we have to play it here. Another way to look at that linear is B, A, G. Okay? So B, A, G. Now, on your regular G chord, you have these 3 strings open. Okay, so that's a pretty safe chord. You can kind of be sloppy with the G chord because 3 of the notes are just open strings. But what we're going to do is use that pinky here and allow it to touch that 5th string, muting it out so that we don't get that. We get the big G on the root. We have those 3 open. We just tried not to play the 1st string. See, because that makes something else. We could put our finger there, but we don't want to do that because there's something else we want to do. This is one of those details I was talking about. We're going to hammer on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and the 4th string, 2nd fret. That's really what we want to do. Start with this one, and then those 3 open. But I'll be over it by noon. Well, that was terrible. But I'll be over it by noon. Okay? Now, that's all 16 bars. And that's where it says, that's the difference. That's the difference between whiskey and you. Okay, so that little tag there, that's the difference between whiskey and you. That's just 1 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. D. Okay, first time they get to that, we go straight back into the intro. That's the difference between whiskey and you. Okay, then they do a whole another verse. The second time they get to that, we're going to do a cool little detail here. When we go 1, 5, 1 again, that's the difference between whiskey and you. There it is. Okay, so check this out. Since we're in drop D, all those notes are part of your D chord. So we're going to now come into your D here and hammer on the 5th. It's the 2nd fret, but it's the 5th of the chord. Okay? Now, come into the chorus. We're going to go to the 5 chord, then the 4 chord. One's the devil, and it's driving me insane. Alright? 5 chord, one's the devil. 4 chord, G, and it's driving me insane. Sometimes I wonder if they ain't both the same. Okay. But another detail, when we get to that 5 chord, that A, we're going to do a similar thing we did with that G, except imagine this finger's a capo, and we're doing that with these fingers. Okay? One's the devil, and it's driving me insane. Sometimes I wonder if they ain't both the same. One's a liar. Back to this. Alright, he says that's it. What does he say? One's a liar. Helps hide me from my pain. One's a long gone day. Same thing we had at the end of the verse. That's the difference between whiskey and you. Alright, now there's a tag on the very end of the song, and it's called that's what's called a deceptive cadence. Deceptive ending, basically. So instead of going 1, 5, 1, it's going to go 1, 5, 6. Okay, and what happens is, that's a common thing happens in modern music, and it's just going to go 6, 5, 4. That's the difference. Okay, so I'm going to do the chorus, and I want to do it with the deceptive cadence and the tag and end it. Okay. So one's a liar. No. It says one's a devil, and it's driving me insane. One's a liar. If they ain't both the same, one's a liar. It hides me from my pain. One's a long gone day, the truth. That's the difference between whiskey and you. That's the difference between whiskey and you. And that's how I play Whiskey and You by Chris Stapleton. Again, check me out online, www.rtsm.rocks. I do private lessons all the time. We do it with Skype and FaceTime, or if you're in the Lakeway area, we can do it one-on-one. So, hope you enjoy the video. Give me some comments, ask questions, whatever. I'll be glad to get back to you. Thanks.